Even though the Democratic Party took a beating at the polls prior to tonight, their supporters and candidates remain upbeat as they watch the results here at the Brownstone Hotel in Raleigh. According to a recent study, an impressive amount of homes have been popping up around our area. Even though that news is encouraging, the square footage of these homes is actually getting smaller. Because of the budget crisis, Wake County schools are looking to be creative in the ways they raise money. One option, corporate sponsorships, like here at Cary High School's football field. Quentin and Justin Hunt were driving in Warren County when they unexpectedly pulled up right behind this Greyhound bus.
Apparently a Greyhound bus has been hijacked.
This bus, traveling from Virginia to Raleigh, was stopped in the middle of the road when the Hunt brothers saw people escaping from the windows.
And my little brother, he brought it to my attention that someone's leg was hanging out the window. And that's when I started paying attention to the bus. And by then, I looked again, and people just started coming out the windows.
The hijacker, who was later identified as Jose Flores, had been riding on the bus as a passenger since Northern Virginia. Passenger Xavier Little says Flores walked to the front of the bus as it crossed the North Carolina border.
He was just irate. It doesn't make sense. Like, nobody understood what was the purpose. He kept saying, I want to go to the courthouse, the nearest courthouse.
Xavier said the man was armed and threatening passengers.
But he just kept yelling, like, y'all got a problem? You want to do something? I got 9 shots. I start killing everybody from the front.
The driver was able to pull over on Mason Drury Road to allow passengers to escape. This is where they were noticed by the Hunt brothers, who called 911 immediately.
And I was getting off the phone, and the bus had turned around and was leaving again. So I don't know what made me do it, but I just started driving behind the bus, and I stayed in close contact with 911.
The brothers said they followed the bus until the troopers were able to catch up. When the bus pulled over at this gas station in Henderson to release the remaining 2 passengers, deputies were waiting for Flores and placed him in custody.
I was like, oh man, I was scared at first.
The Hunt brothers knew they couldn't leave the stranded passengers alone and frightened, and put their own fear aside, happy to help.
I would tell them I wouldn't need any thanks because it's kind of a natural habit to help people.
From the WRAL News Studios in Raleigh, this is a WRAL News Update.
I'm Lauren Leslie with this WRAL Update. A Wake County man accused of killing his wife made his first appearance in court today. Investigators say 67-year-old John Evans said his wife shot him and then killed herself. According to court documents, Donna Evans was shot twice, both fatal, meaning she could not have shot herself. John Evans is now charged with murder. Investigators believe he shot himself to cover up the crime. New problems at the state agency that pays benefits to those out of work. The state auditor's office released a report showing the Employment Security Commission paid $147 million out of a state fund when the money should have come from federal resources. An ESC spokesman says the state didn't lose any money because of the mistake. The report shows it took the ESC around 6 months to correct the problem once federal reviewers found it. The national snowstorm is causing plenty of trouble for travelers, but nothing quite like this. A 41-year-old woman escaped this crash on New Hampshire Highway after her car slid down an embankment. Instead of stopping at the bottom, the car rose up and the front end got stuck in 3 feet of snow. Officials say they've never seen anything like it. You'll find more information on these stories and all your local and national headlines at WRAL.com.
Live from Raleigh, WRAL News in high definition starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Lauren Leslie. The beaches of North Carolina were covered in snow today, and tonight we're tracking our chances for winter weather. We begin in Carteret County, where snow is coming down hard in Morehead City. That didn't stop people from getting out. These drivers are moving right along. And in Beaufort, the snowfall made for a beautiful scene along the water. But check out these boaters. They had enough of the cold and headed in for the day. The snow blanketed the dunes and the Outer Banks in white. Beach access trails were covered in snow. Trees at the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse Station looked like they were sprinkled with powdered sugar. And the Avon Pier, typically covered in sand, saw a heavy coating of snow. So what are our chances for that in the Triangle? Meteorologist Kim Diener is in the HD Weather Center to explain. Kim? In Cary, maintenance teams already soaked the roads with brine. Tomorrow morning, Wake County road crews will be pre-treating major interstates and highways. A final farewell today to a Rocky Mount woman missing for almost 2 years. Yolanda Lancaster was the 9th in a string of similar cases where women with similar profiles were found dead. 8 of those cases, including Lancaster's, remain unsolved. The investigation into these cases has received national attention, although as our Bo Minnick reports, today was all about a local community grieving this latest loss. Lancaster also is survived by a daughter and a son. They are being raised by Tucker, their grandmother. Halifax County deputies are looking for 2 men wanted for a deadly home invasion. Deputies say the gunman shot 3 men inside a home off Ward Drive in Roanoke Rapids shortly after midnight. 29-year-old Antonia Mills died after being shot multiple times. A witness tried to pursue the gunman and reported seeing the getaway car in the area of Highway 48 and US 158. No word on the other victims' conditions. A man is accused of torturing and killing his dog in Raleigh. Police charged 34-year-old Daniel Hurley with animal cruelty. Arrest warrants indicate that he tortured and beat his Jack Russell Terrier, killing the dog. Hurley lived at Walden Woods condominiums. Neighbors say he was unemployed and was verbally abusive toward the animal. He's in jail under a $10,000 bond. A former Fort Bragg soldier appealing his murder conviction is using the troubled SBI crime lab as an argument for a new trial. The Fayetteville Observer is reporting that attorneys for Timothy Hennis argued jurors might have changed their mind if they were aware of the accusations of misconduct by the SBI. Hennis is on death row for the murders of a mother and her 2 children more than 25 years ago. Friday's hearing was held in Kansas, where Hennis is in prison. Doctors are preparing a rehabilitation plan for Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. She is in Houston now at a clinic to continue her recovery. Sandra Hughes reports from Texas. The nation's first Peace Corps director, Sergeant Shriver, is being remembered as courageous and idealistic. His funeral was attended by former President Clinton, U2's Bono, Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, and Wyclef Jean. Cardinal Donald Wuerl of the Archdiocese of Washington delivered the homily. In it, he asked Shriver's grandchildren to live with the same courage and fortitude as their grandparents. Shriver died Tuesday at the age of 95. The frequency of fires in the Triangle are burning through American Red Cross funds. Triangle Red Cross officials say they responded to 130 single-family home fires this past December. Compare that to just 70 single-family home fires in December of 2009. And just 3 weeks into the new year, the trend continues, including this apartment